Hi, everybody. It's Lauren Mobley here, the host of Library Unlock. Library life can be full of ups and downs, but you can always come kick it with me and my guests to laugh and learn. All things library, all the time. Or, at least until I change my mind. Here, I can guarantee you we'll mix things up and lock it down. Today, I am so honored to have the incredible Erika Long on the show. I hope you enjoy our conversation. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Library Unlock. I am so excited to have Erika Long with us today. Erika, welcome.
Woo, woo, woo. No, yeah. Thanks for having me.
Are you kidding me?
I'm
Of course.
excited.
I'm just so glad you said yes, girl.
Thank you.
You're amazing.
Thank you.
So, for our listeners who
So are
don't
you.
know you, will you introduce yourself? Tell us a little bit about your school, where you're from.
Ooh, okay. So let's get into it. I'm Erika Long. I am originally from Memphis. I am probably the person in Tennessee who can say that they've lived in every part of the state. I lived in Knoxville for 15 years, and it's actually where I started my library career. It was a third career, and I spent a few years there in education and then moved to Nashville just to get closer to Memphis without actually going home because, Memphis is different. And Memphis education is different. And so here we are. But I am currently in Metro Nashville Public Schools. I work at a middle school that is currently on its last year of serving fifth graders. All of our fifth graders are shifting back to elementary now after over 20 years in middle school. And I have fifth through eighth grade. I have just under 800 kids. At one point, we were the largest middle school, but due to us being overcrowded at some point and having to shift from being a choice school to a purely zoned school, our enrollment has now decreased. But it's an amazing place to work. We have over 40 countries represented in my building. We have over 20 languages spoken in my building. So there's a huge amount of diversity there. One of the things that I absolutely loved about this school when I first started working there was the hallways were lined with images of the kids. So we always had a student of the week, and just to see all of that diversity throughout the hallways on the main level of the school is really amazing. So, yeah, that's kind of my school in a nutshell.
That's amazing. Wait, so I didn't realize that Nashville was like a melting pot. Because literally,
Oh,
I just
it
think country
is.
music and cowboy boots and okay, wait, y'all got
Oh,
it's diverse.
it
20
is
languages,
wide.
40 countries. Like this is breaking my brain. This
Yeah,
is amazing. That's so cool.
it's widely diverse. And we get students. I'm still getting new students every day, even though we're at the end of the semester. It'll pick back up again in January. We have a lot of students who are coming to us as refugees. We have students that are coming to us. I remember one year students were coming to us after the hurricane um, in Puerto Rico. And just there's always kids coming to us from outside of the country as a new student. Some who I realized today, one kid is in fifth grade and he had not been in school since second grade. He came, yeah, he has a Haitian Creole and Hispanic background, and he was in second grade during the pandemic and never went back to school until this year when he came to America. So it's a lot, but it's
Wow.
a lot of different stories that we get exposed to, and then just kind of figuring out how to make it work for them and make them enjoy being there. Yeah, I think that's the biggest challenge
I know they
because
are
it's
loving your space though and feeling safe in the
yeah.
library. What are some
Yeah.
things you do to kind of like welcome them into the school? Because I feel like at my school, all the new kids come to the library. One, because they need their
Oh,
Chromebook. And you need a little username
Facts.
and password set up, you know? And then, so it's like I get to meet all the new kids first, even though I'm
Do we
like,
work in the
please see
same
the tech.
library?
That's where they go. It's almost like onboarding process.
Yeah.
Like you go to the counselor, you go to the library. So I like
That's
that
what I'm gonna
aspect
start
to
calling it.
the onboard, the new student onboard, right? And they keep coming till the last day of school, basically, in my
Yes.
community as well. So, what are some things that you've done to try to make students feel welcome? Your new students, your diverse population, all these different languages
Mhm.
that they speak.
So a couple of things. One thing is our welcome sign is in multiple languages, because they all speak something different from me. So I want to make sure that they know that even if I can't speak the language, that they know it's a space that's open to the multiple languages, right? And then I also have a sign that says in this library, it's a few years old, but I like refreshed it this year to bring it back. And it just talks about all of the different people who are accepted in this space. So whether you are um, male, female, non-binary, whether you are cisgender, fit into the LGBTQ community, whether you have grown-ups at home that are not your biological parents, or like all of those things, having that sign there. I remember it was one of the things that for a student who was new to the state a few years ago, it was the one thing that when they walked in, they knew that they could always come into the library and feel safe, which was extremely important because that student, I later found out from her, didn't feel safe in her old library because she asked for a certain type of book and the librarian kind of like shamed her for wanting that type of
Oh,
book.
oh, I hate
So,
that so
so yeah,
much.
so those things, the library is open for lunch. Sometimes teachers hate it. I don't know why, because they're not in there to clean it up. But whatever.
You cleaning it
It's open.
up,
No, oh no, no.
Erica?
I don't clean it up. They know they have to clean up.
Oh,
So,
okay, okay, okay.
we have Lysol wipes and cleaner and paper towels for them to be able to clean. We have a little carpet sweeper for them to sweep if they get stuff on the floor. So they do it and they're happy. I mean, are they ready to do it as soon as you say, all right, time to clean up? No, because they still playing on the computer or talking to their friends and eating their food. But they do it
Okay.
because they like the privilege of being able to come in there every day.
They'll know
So
you'll shut it
yeah,
down
but
if it's not
it,
right.
and I do shut it down sometimes, and that's okay because I explain to them why, and we come back and do it all over again the
Mm,
next day. But yeah, it's a happening spot. I
right.
don't like I don't like to say the cliche. It's the heart of the school because maybe it's not the heart of the school, but it is like this jumping lit place for sure, because they're always in there. Like they are in there in the mornings before school opens. It's just one of those things. I think another thing that makes our kids feel welcome is that we always greet them. So I may not be able to greet every kid by name, because there's a group of you coming in, but I'm always making sure that you see us and we see you and we speak. And we always say thank you. I learned that from Jason Reynolds.
Shout out to Jason Reynolds.
Shout out to Jason Reynolds.
He's been,
Yeah, I
he's
know.
been
I love from episodes past. This is like a Jason Reynolds stand
right. This is a
podcast.
Jason Reynolds fan club podcast. Jason, if you're listening,
Um,
everybody share this with Jason Reynolds and tag him. Tell him that we love
Facts,
him.
repost, retweet, whatever y'all do. I don't even. Are we supposed to say retweet now? I don't know. Um,
Rex.
but yeah. Um, one of my very first, this is so off topic, but also very important as to why because I had to have this conversation with a friend of mine, like, why you say thank you, even though you are the one that did the service. Um, my very first AASL conference was in Arizona, and he was the keynote speaker. And he talked about a whole bunch of things that I remember from that. Like, I don't remember every single word, but there are so many gems that I took away from that one. But one of the most important things that I took away was being able to say thank you to the kids when they come in to
Mm-hmm.
use the space. And he said that we needed to show them humility, intimacy, and gratitude. And since 2017, I have walked with that, or it's walked with me in the library, to always have some humility when dealing with them. I am easily there to apologize when I've messed something up. The intimacy, like having those really close relationships and creating those opportunities, especially for kids who really show that they need it, because we know what that looks like, right?
Right.
And then the gratitude piece and always showing up and saying thank you, and expressing that gratitude. So yeah,
I love that so much. And you just reminded
thanks.
me I really need to be kinder. I think it's the
I think it's to
pregnancy.
be firm and kind at the
I think
same time. Like
yes,
the
it's
two
finding
can
that
exist.
balance. It's finding that balance of don't try me, but I love you. And I'm also like always on the edge because my hormones are crazy right now with this pregnancy. And I'm really trying to be nice to you. I am. So, when we go back to school, I'm gonna be like, thank you. Thank you.
But sometimes we don't give kids credit. Like they know they won. They know that the hormones are real. They can tell. They also know when they are doing the most. So yeah, they whatever.
Like
They
I'm
know.
not letting you
They
come
know
up
you
in
love them.
here. I'm not letting you come up in here at 8:30 in the morning to plan a fight for the afternoon. We're not doing that, okay?
Nah, bruh. That's no, no.
Not what the
See, you
space is
just
for. Yes, we lit. It is a lit library, club library. Some people call it the
yeah,
skating rink, but that's not the vibe. Okay,
yeah.
it's got to be a
We're not doing
balance.
that.
It's got to be a balance.
Absolutely.
But you mentioned ASL in Arizona. You have been going to lots of conferences, super involved. What are all of your different involvements?
Uh, I, whoa,
A lot. You
whoa.
do a lot.
Currently, I am. I'm a member of Tennessee Library Association, American Association of School Librarians, and American Library Association. Those are my three, I think. Um, uh, Someone reached out to me about um, starting a Black Caucus chapter in Tennessee, which
Oh,
I think
okay.
would be really cool. To date, I have not been able to become a part of Black Caucus of ALA, but it has been something that I've thought about for quite some time. Just financially hasn't been the best time. Um, and so yeah, I'm looking into that. We have an interest meeting in January to try to make that happen for us here in Tennessee, just to kind of build another network. But in Tennessee Library Association, I am a past president and currently serve as our chapter counselor. So I sit on council in ALA as a representative of Tennessee. Um, Usually it's a 3-year term as a chapter counselor. So this is my last year in this term. And who knows what'll happen next when when this is up. But I have also been on the board for AASL as at the time, it was an interim regional director. They then shifted the makeup of the board. So it's it's not regional director anymore, it's director at large. I have done social media committee for conference for
Mm,
AASL.
that sounds like
I
fun.
have done, yep, I worked on a task force in AASL for the standards crosswalks for ISTE. That was a fun undertaking. Um, and
Now
oh
that
my
sounds
goodness,
intense.
yeah, it so
I mean,
it was right
somebody's got to
after
do it, but
standards.
geez.
Somebody got to do it, right? What I did like about that though was because we knew it was a lot, we broke it up into groups. We had subcommittees,
Oh, okay, little
so we
chunks.
only had to focus on we only
Hmm.
had to focus on a certain thing with our group. I've done a lot. I can't even keep up. It's a
It's
lot,
okay, because that
but
just speaks to your awesomeness
um
and how much you give back in your advocating for school librarianship.
So yeah, that's really why I do it, to give back. And another thing is that it kind of keeps me in the know of like
Mm.
trends, issues, challenges, but also to be a voice. With AASL, that was one of my biggest things. With being on the board, was being a voice for librarians and for the folks who felt like their voices weren't being heard. So, yeah.
So, how did you get involved with these different
Well,
organizations? You can speak with
so
to your state, to the national.
I first got involved with all of them when I was a student in library school
Was it a
because it was
requirement?
cheap.
Oh.
Mm-mm. It wasn't, and I know some people make it a requirement
Mm-hmm.
now, which, on one hand I get, on the other hand I'm like, is there an equity issue here? But
Mm-hmm.
um, it wasn't a requirement. It was cheap, and the person that I was working with. So when I went to library school, I changed careers. So I stopped working at the nonprofit I was working for, and then um, was working as a library clerk, library assistant, however you want to call it, at a high school. And the librarian, who is now one of my best friends, um, had recently finished library school and was just telling me all the things that I should, keep in mind and
Mm-hmm.
do. And one of those things was conferences and association memberships. And it was cheap then. I mean, which to somebody who was not making money back then, it was me investing in my profession. And so I just haven't stopped since then. Um, one of the ways that I got involved as a member was kind of being voluntold. It was at Tennessee Library Association. We had a school libraries kind of roundtable, and there weren't a lot of people who were actively involved from school libraries at the annual conference, because we have a separate association for school librarians in Tennessee. So they weren't at the big like Tennessee Library Association. So the ones of us who were there is like, okay, well, I've served. Now it's somebody else's turn, and so it ended up being me, and that's kind of where the bug,
Thrown
the
into the
bug
fold.
hit. Yeah, that's where it began. And then after that, it was just like, okay, I want to do things, and I'm not done with all the things that I want to do. Like, I want to one day be on conference committee for AASL conference, because I think it'll be cool to help, you know, be more hands on than the way I was previously. Because the conference where I did social media committee, it was set up different from how they did social media this time. So like they did a phenomenal job with social media this time, and it's just like kind of pushing and marketing and promoting it well in advance, with all of the like Tampa trivia and stuff like that. I thought that was really cool.
Little interactive,
Um,
interactive
yeah,
posts they had were fun.
absolutely. And when they first started that committee, when I did it several years ago, it was like you're just going to be tweeting or posting on social media during the conference. So it was just like us sharing about the experience while there. But I think, like anything else, it's evolved. And so it felt, so now that I think back on it, like it was great to have that experience, but it also wasn't like the hands-on conference planning type thing. And so that's the next thing that hopefully I get to do at some point. But
That's so good you said that, because when people are, thinking about joining an organization, what can they contribute? There's so many different committees. You can find your interest really and hop
yeah,
on to what interests you, because it is a big undertaking. And I know from
it's
being in my
huge.
state organization, there's so many little subcommittees and groups to all make it work together from volunteering.
Yeah. There is like program um just like just coming up with the sessions is an
Oof.
undertaking. And so I did that a couple of times. I did session review, session proposal review. Like if you are like, I do want to volunteer, but I don't have a lot of time, like I don't want to be committed, what if I don't like it? Like that is one of the not easiest things, but that's one of the best things that's offered, because you have such a short time commitment, because you'll get the proposals and you got like 2 or 3 weeks to look them over. You're not looking at all of them. They're going to give you a specific amount that you look at. It's blind. You don't know who it is. And I think that is like a easy way to kind of get your feet wet.
Mm.
There's a lot of easy ways to get your feet wet when you think about it, but yeah, that's a fun one. But because then you also know like, oh, this has the potential to be there, and
Right.
now you're all excited about being ready to go to conference. So yeah.
No, that's true. Do you have advice for maybe some school librarians who are like, I've got my little network, but joining an organization seems kind of daunting, or I don't know if I'm ready. Because I was voluntold
Oh,
seriously by my mentor, like, oh, you're going to join this and I'm going
okay.
to put you on this committee and you're going to be the chair. And I'm like, wait, what?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know. She's like, you got it. You got it. You got it. You can do it.
I'm
It's
gonna
fine.
be honest. I probably would not have met as many people and built the relationships that I have if I hadn't actually become a member of organizations. And I'll say this, like, if it seems overwhelming, just pick one, like, at least like your state one, because you have people in your state that you can network with. Like, y'all probably have this, like, the same or similar state level guidelines, or similar demographics, or like whatever, but they're so close to you that at some point you could potentially run into each other and just continue to grow their relationship. So I think even if you don't do it for more than a year, like at least do it to see what benefits it offers you.
Mhm.
But I also feel like it's like anything else, you get what you put into.
Mm. That's a really good point. How much you put in is what you're gonna get out. You reap what you sow. Ain't that how it go?
Yeah.
Some
So it's put them seeds in the ground and nurture
Yes,
them.
yes. And speaking of seeds, I know that you have contributed to several books.
Yes.
Told you, you
Oh,
are
now your
what?
segues is popping. Okay.
Oh, I was really racking my brain, like, how do I transition? So I'm glad that worked.
Oh, it's just two. It's just two.
Multiple.
Yeah.
Various.
Yeah, okay. I'll take it. I've done more articles than I have. But yeah, I've done two. It's so interesting how publishing works. So the one that came out last was the one that I was first approached to do.
Wow,
Hmm.
how'd that happen? I guess. Wait, so the one you were approached to do first came out last. So there was one in between
Hmm.
this, between in the process that was thought
Yeah.
of, presented, written, and published. I mean, okay, this was a
Now,
long time.
hmm this first book, um, I have a vignette in it, and it was an opportunity to really understand, like, or to really kind of grow my writing chops because I had done like some blogs and a couple of articles. But when this person approached me about this book, and it's called Promoting African American Writers, it's about library partnerships for outreach programming and literacy. They are an academic librarian. And so there are academic level public and school stories in here about how to promote African American literature in the library. Um, I said yes to this because I wanted to challenge myself. Um, because it was going to be a different level than your typical like blog. I feel like with blogs, sometimes you can be really like fun and lighthearted and bring your own,
Right, who's gonna check
swag
me? But it
to
was
it.
my blog.
Right. Yeah, 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 yeah. But this was like, oh my goodness, like it's got to have a certain number of words. It's got to, provide this and that. So yeah, but what happened was COVID.
Oh, okay, that's making sense. Miss
And then,
Corona.
and yeah, she's a bad, you know what.
Right.
So COVID happened. A couple of people backed out of the book. Um, and the timing just got pushed all around because they ended up having to look for other people or extend some stories. And at the time that the request for an extension of my part, extension of my part came, I was in the middle of number two, the book number two,
Oh, okay.
um, and it was a really tight deadline for that one. So I was just like, yeah, I can't. Like, I'm happy for you to still keep my part in there, but I just can't add to it. So that ended up not coming out until this year, actually. Um, and last year. Oh, it's buggy. But then the second book came about, and I felt one. I was like, "How do you know me?" And because this first book, like I met that person at ALA, right? So this is a librarian I met in one of the sessions we were in, and we exchanged contact information, all that jazz. The second one, like we followed each other on social media, but I was just like, "Were you asking me?" But I think that it was at the time, imposter syndrome, which I have now learned is a lot more than that. Um, and then she asked me to write the first chapter, and I was like, if people read this chapter, it's not good, then they ain't
Wait,
gonna read the
so
rest of the
rewind. Tell
book.
us about the second book.
So the second book is Core Values in School Librarianship. It's responding with commitment and courage. And I actually co-authored the first chapter on equity with
Oh.
a friend and mentor who I've known for 10 years now. We work together in the same district in Knoxville, and so That was a cool thing to do. It was in the middle of COVID, and I think everybody at that point was like, I can't read, I can't write, but we're gonna make it shake.
Mm.
So, um, because they were really strict with that deadline and pushing it out at a certain time, that book ended up coming out before the first one did.
Wow,
But yeah,
that's crazy. That's so amazing, though. And
thank you.
I think it speaks to that. It speaks that you were selected to write the first chapter about equity. You know,
Mm,
all of the amazing things you've contributed to your state, to our nation, as far as school librarianship goes, and so that's just wonderful. So thank you for sharing about that.
of course, thank you.
What was your experience like writing that book? Those books.
Oh, so I'll be honest with you, the vignette was a lot easier because um I didn't have to do as many words, right?
It
Uh
was easier because it
and
was shorter.
yes. It was cool too because we were doing we I was writing about some stuff that we had done where like during Black History Month we had this read-in where kids could choose from different works by African American authors. I typically say Black, so by Black authors, and had like a full-on what do you call it, like showcase.
Okay, yeah.
Um, so instead of people just reading silently, we had kids to sign up to come in and read. We had the little stool set up and kids all around. Yeah.
Oh,
So that was cool. So being able to share that because that was something that I had never done before when I wrote about that. So I thought that was cool. The second one was hard because one, um, you don't know what the other person is going to write about. And we were tasked with co-authoring. Every chapter had two writers. And so while we had some different experiences to bring, um, it was really like you have ideas of what you want to talk about, but you don't know if what you're writing is going to be the same as what somebody else is writing. And so then you have to possibly cut something out because y'all just wrote the same thing.
so wait.
Um,
So how did y'all plan it? It was like you did the beginning, that she did the end, or y'all like wrote the whole thing together in a shared doc and kind of just took turns.
so we did share a doc. We did come up with the main things, examples of things that we had done. Um, so one of mine was like revamping my library and really kind of talking about the inequity of having the funding to do that when there are other people in my district who don't even have enough funding to buy more books than I have, and
Mm,
they run through books more because they're elementary. So things like that. But just she also brought a different perspective to it at the time because she was shifting into a district level position too, which I think helped to add another perspective to it.
right.
Um, so like having an outline, and then reading each other's work while it was happening to prevent from being redundant was one of the things that was helpful.
That's so cool. Yeah, I know that outline was helpful. Like this
Yeah.
gonna be your part. This my part. We go back and forth.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So I know. Please, 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 please share those books with our listeners in the show notes so that they can have access to read these materials, and I need them as well. Um,
Will do.
Look, before I let you go, can you believe it? We're done.
Yeesh. That was quick.
It was so quick, but we're gonna keep them short.
Mm.
What are you reading right now? Before I let you go,
Oh,
that's my little
girl.
trademark. My little trademark. What are you reading?
I love that. So I am currently reading American Wings. It is not published yet.
It sounds familiar though.
Oh, it's in
Am I
my
making that
backpack.
up that I've heard of
Um,
it? Oh, you know what I'm
you
thinking
might
about?
have.
Ebony Wings. I'm thinking of Ebony Wings. That's something different. The wings. It was the wings part.
Y'all, I wish y'all could see my face right now.
Wait, American Wings like
All right,
American,
so
not American Deli Wings. Like just. Let me stop. Let me stop. Go ahead, Erica. Am I hungry or what?
must be no. This is nonfiction. It comes out in January, so by the time you hear this episode, it might be coming out.
Okay.
But it's like mid-January, I think. And it's nonfiction about um about Black pilots in after World War One in Chicago, and just like what it's like to try to become a pilot, because there's all these people who don't want you to become a pilot because they won't let you go through the courses in order to get the license. So um like a little bit of history with Bessie Coleman, a few Amelia Earhart quotes in there, but so yeah, learning about that right now, because there will be something really cool to pair with it, courtesy of me.
Oh, now this sounds really interesting. Are you a nonfiction
Yeah.
girl?
No,
Oh,
no. But here's the thing: the work that I have done for publishers is for nonfiction. And I
I
don't
think
know
you
how
are.
that work. I
I
don't
think
know
you
how
are a
that works
nonfiction
out.
girl. Just claim it.
I'm
It's
such a
fine.
I'm such a realistic fiction person. Oh, anyway. But yes, that is what I'm reading right now. It's by Sherri Winston and Elizabeth Wein.
Oh yeah, and Sherri Winston writes a lot of fiction.
Uh-huh. I think this might be the first nonfiction title I've seen for her.
Wow. Okay, and this is middle
So
grades or an adult title?
it's young adult.
Where can our listeners find you before I let you go?
Oh, find me on my favorite one is Instagram.
That one
At
is
Not Your
Instagram.
Mama's Librarian.
That
It's
is the cutest handle.
NOTYOMAMAS librarian. And the only reason it's not that across platforms is because nobody else lets you have a handle that long. So so on all the other ones, it's just Erica ERIKA Long LONG. So follow me and let's connect.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
I'm still on Twitter, y'all.
X
I
girl.
I'm
No.
trying. I know I'm trying. I'm trying to let go. I'm on Blue Sky now, so I'm getting there.
Oh my gosh. Steve Tatro in
Yeah.
that blue sky.
I know. I was like, am I gonna be on Threads, or I might have to give Blue Sky up though, because I didn't know you couldn't put a video on there. So my little
maybe
winter break countdown is, it is what it is.
maybe I'll go see what Blue Sky talking about. I just feel overwhelmed. There's too many
Girl, I'm
apps.
talking about a lot. I
It's too
know,
many
right?
apps. Erica, thank you again. You were so fantastic. I can't wait for,
Thank you.
to see what else is in store.
Same. Thanks for having me, Lauren.
Erica, how inspiring! I hope this conversation motivates you to get involved. If you enjoyed listening, please consider leaving a review, sharing with a friend, and following for more content. Next week, we will have a fun and creative chat with my friend, Linda Martinez.